The Shark Deck.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. On Monday night, Jimmy Kimmel addressed a report that was in Rolling Stone. According to the report, in 2018, President Trump asked White House officials to call Disney and demand that Jimmy Kimmel stop making jokes about Trump. Kimmel said, in other words, President Karen demanded to speak to my manager. You think the guy that fathered Eric and Don Jr. would know how to handle jokes, but I guess not. You know what? Maybe this is why Donald and Melania sleep in separate bedrooms. She was laughing too hard at my monologue at night. But really, joking aside, this is a blatant abuse of power. I wonder if Fox News, they're always screaming against censoring comedians, will they defend me on this? I doubt it. Are you excited for Chris Rock's big live special on Netflix tomorrow night, Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, pregame show at 9:30? Yes. I will react to it in a bonus episode at some point between the end of the special and Monday afternoon. I have some soccer over the weekend. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to bang this one out, but there will be a bonus episode discussing Chris Rock. Also, I'd like to invite you to the Facebook Hang. So pop on Facebook in the Daily Comedy News podcast group. I'm going to do some sort of post, and we can just chat and watch it together. And if you have some comments, you comment in the comment section. That's what a comment section is. That's where comments go. We can comment. So I'll pop on to Facebook around 9:30 Eastern tomorrow night, and we'll watch Chris Rock together, okay? I'm going to talk about the Chris Rock special here. There are some spoilers for the material, so if you want to skip ahead a bit, let me see here. Why don't you skip ahead about 2 minutes? Okay, the spoilers. Apparently, some of the material that he's been working out very recently includes Rock saying, I rooted for Will Smith my whole life, but the other day I watched Emancipation just so I could watch him getting whipped. Chris Rock played Baltimore back on February 17th, presumably working out the location and the material. At that show, Chris Rock said, Will Smith practices selective outrage. People who are in the know that stuff had nothing to do with me. He's significantly bigger than me. You'll never see me on camera with my shirt off. Will played Muhammad Ali. I played Pookie. And according to The Sun, Chris Rock is keeping his word about never saying Jada Pinkett Smith's name. That was Will Smith's request, right? Keep your name out of your mouth. Well, Chris Rock is agreeing to it, referring to her as Will Smith's wife and his wife. Rock told the crowd at that Baltimore show, we've all been cheated on. She hurt him way more than he ever hurt me. Everyone knows I'm not spilling any tea. I felt so bad for Will, I tried to call him and give him my condolences. Everybody was calling him a bitch except me, but who does he hit? Me. Should be a major comedy event. I'm looking forward to it. Trevor Noah has a new book coming out this fall. Not much is known about it, but publisher One World is billing the novel as a, quote, gorgeously illustrated and moving modern fable for readers of all ages about forgiveness, acceptance, and the secret to solidarity. Untitled book is said to be evocative of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and The Little Prince. Shooting high there, Trevor Noah. Okay. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, usually held in Edmonton, Calgary, is expanding to Halifax, and they brought in a big name. He is Jerry Seinfeld. Their release calls Seinfeld, quote, one of the greatest and most recognizable comedians of all time. I always like to break apart sentences like that. Now, of all time, is an awfully long time. Let's just casually define all time as starting in 1900. Is Jerry Seinfeld one of the greatest comedians since 1900? I'm going to say yes, no doubt. In the course of my career, I have seen a lot of comedians live. The best two that I've seen live, I never saw George Carlin in person. I never saw Richard Pryor in person. But people that I've sat in the audience and watched, number one, Jerry Seinfeld. Number two, Chris Rock. Who's third best, Johnny Mac? I would have to think about that. You know who was really good and crushed when I saw him? Ralphie May. Now, am I going to sit here and say, Ralphie May, third best comedian of all time? I don't know if I'm ready to say that, but I'm just racking my brain who I saw in person that crushed. Might have to put a tail in the conversation as well. We'll do that some other day. Jerry Seinfeld will be in Halifax, August 11th. Forbes caught up with Taylor Tomlinson. She's in Dallas, Texas this weekend, 5 shows at the Majestic Theater. She discussed making the jump to bigger theaters and said, you just have to do everything a lot bigger. That's the biggest challenge. At the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana, you can take 2 steps in either direction. At an Improv, you can pace a bit. But the Chicago Theater is a massive wide stage, and you have to move much more. It's also different because in some of the rooms, like Chicago, there's a screen behind you, and that helps. Certain things will work with a screen because the back row can see your facial expressions like in a club. So thinking about all that and sort of tweaking each performance based on the room you're in is key. Really interesting there, right? Because I commented earlier in the week that one of the challenges I had watching Kathleen Madigan's special is that she didn't really move. I feel like you got to work the stage a little, right? Comedians, talk to me. Taylor said, I don't think comedians really need any one thing or any one opportunity or any one person anymore. I think with podcasts, too, everybody has so much control over their career and their voice and finding their people. I think the internet has made it so you have so much control over your own career, which I think is really important and cool. I'll tell you, plugging Buy Me a Coffee every day has resulted in a lot of free coffees. Another show here where I didn't bring one downstairs. I haven't even finished it yet. I put it in the fridge. I started it this morning, then I went to work out and I put it in the fridge, and I haven't gone back to it yet. Here is a bottle of water. I don't want to shake it too hard because it doesn't have a cap on it. But if you enjoy what I do here and you want to support the show, two ways. One, go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. You throw some money in the tip jar. I buy a coffee. You've heard me talk about this every day. You can also become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts via Apple Podcasts, and they'll put the option under your nose. $5 a month. First month is free. If you want to try it out, you can cancel. I'm not offended. But you'll get the episodes early and you'll get them ad-free. And the ads are back. Did you hear the ads are starting to come back? Yeah, the ads are back. There's a plan here. I'm telling you. Appreciate you all. The numbers have been up again. So it's been a nice little run here. All right. Just for laughs, London. Because I have mastered time zones, I've been working ahead. So let's take a look at who's playing on Saturday. First show is the Fock It Up Comedy Club. I said Fock, F-O-C. I don't know what you think I said. The Fock It Up Comedy Club unapologetically celebrates and centers the perspectives of comedians of color that are not cis men. Fock apparently stands for Femmes of Color Comedy Club. All right, that sounds like it could be a really good show. And that's at 2 in the afternoon. Why would we not go? 3 in the afternoon, Craig Robinson in conversation. Now, we supposedly saw Craig Robinson in My Little Fantasy last night, so we don't need to see Craig again. At 4 o'clock, Shaparak Khorsandi. The description here, the 90s, the decade that Shaparak was in her 20s, the decade when there was nothing to do but party, and Shaparak found herself flying about London with hope in her heart, a tenner in her pocket, and spare knickers in her handbag. She matched the boys pint for pint, and frequently woke up in parts of London she'd never heard of. This is a show about how we 90s kids are looking to young people to learn about how to take care of ourselves. That sounds fun, too. And that's at 4 o'clock. All right. 5 o'clock. Springleaf with James Acaster and Nish Kumar. Undercover cop Pat Springleaf, more widely known by his covert name James Acaster, talks to Nish Kumar about his upcoming true crime podcast. At 6 o'clock, Jessica Fostekew presents Wench, a show about sexy things, awkward, private things, oh no, and a woman trying to sit on the face of time to keep it still. Parentheses, hot, right? 8 o'clock, Aisling B. and Friends. Friends include Nish Kumar, Susie Ruffle, and Nabil Abdul-Rashid. 8:30, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, that Ryan Reynolds. Moderated by Rob Delaney. You know, I watch Welcome to Wrexham, and I see Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, I don't think I would enjoy spending time with Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. My wife is like, you're insane. But I don't know. So I'm going to rule that one out already. 9 o'clock, Jordan Gray's Extraordinary Cabaret. Jordan Gray brings some of her favorite pals to join her for an Extraordinary Cabaret show. 11 o'clock, Reggie Watts. All right, we got a busy day here. Let's go back to the top and plan out our day. Let's definitely go to see Fock It Up at 2. Shaparak Khorshandi's 90s show interested me, so we'll do that one. That was at like 5. Then we'll grab a beer and some food. Then let's do Aisling B. That was like the 8 o'clock show. And we can hit Reggie Watts late. That's a pretty solid night of comedy, huh? Too bad we're not in London. Then we could stay up till 3 in the morning and log into Netflix and watch Chris Rock live and then really pass out. Us Magazine has 25 things you don't know about Jim Gaffigan. The 25 things were provided to Us Magazine by Jim Gaffigan. I don't know if I want to do 25. Let's do 10, and then we'll do some more tomorrow. How about that? Number 1, Jim Gaffigan says, I'm more of an eater than a cooker, but I like to make meat sauce with spicy peppers that I grow in my own garden. All right. Number 2 thing you didn't know about Jim Gaffigan. It was embarrassing how little I understood the science that's portrayed on my character's kids show in Linoleum. All right, Jim, you plugged your movie. You could have put that a little deeper. Fine. Number 3, one thing fans always say to me on the street is either meow from Super Troopers or Hot Pocket. Or they ask me, how do I know you? Number 4, my biggest secret talent is that I can sleep a lot and still be exhausted. Number 5, my first car was a Fiero, which looked like a wedge of cheese. 6, my favorite item in my wardrobe is a fancy robe that my wife got me. I used to make jokes that I hated robes, but this robe is so nice. When I put it on, I'm like, I should just live in this. Number 7, this one's good. I think Ellen DeGeneres was my celebrity crush growing up. Number 8, We Are Young. Reminds me of being in the car and my kids singing along to that song, the version by Fun. Number 9, David Copperfield is Jim Gaffigan's favorite book. And number 10, on a typical Saturday night, You'll find him on stage doing stand-up. I don't think that's like something we didn't know about you, Jim. I think we kind of all knew that. I'll skip ahead to number 11. On Sunday afternoon, you'll usually find me napping if I'm lucky. Alrighty, so I'll save the rest for tomorrow. We'll come back. So you want to make sure you don't miss the show. So you're going to follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, whatever your thing is. We'll meet back here tomorrow. So you're at McDonald's and you get your bag and you open your bag. You want to grab a couple of fries or something and there's $5,000 in it. Yeah, this happened to one guy. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of 5 Good News Stories. He gave the money back, don't worry. If you want to start your day with a smile twice a week, I've got 5 good news stories for you. For example, there's an airline for dogs. Or what about the woman in her 80s who just released her debut album? How about the dude who found 150 corn on the cobs under his floorboards? Is corn on the cobs even the way you say that? Who cares? And yes, that was a pony at the supermarket. 5 good news stories, the number 5 good news stories, 5 good news stories, the number 5 good news stories, wherever you get your podcasts.